Title: I bought a bulk lot of hard drives from a liquidation auction. Since I decrypted the first one, the same 3 technicians have been standing across the street. Posted by binary_bleed. Flare, series. Time, 8 hours ago. Part 1. The Partition. I'm posting this from a burner phone I bought with cash at a 7-Eleven 2 towns over. I'm currently sitting in the back of my closet with the door wedge-jammed shut. If the formatting is bad, I'm sorry. My hands are shaking so bad I can barely hit the keys. I need to create a record. If I just disappear, I want someone to know it wasn't a mental break. It was the drives. I'm a data hoarder. It's a hobby. I buy old server equipment, wipe it, and use it to store movies, games, open-source mapping projects, whatever. Last week, I won a bid on a government surplus site, Lot 44B, 20 terabytes SAS drives, as is. The description was vague, listed as coming from a generic logistics firm in Northern Virginia that went under. The box arrived on Tuesday, heavy, nondescript cardboard. Inside were 12 drives wrapped in anti-static bags. I plugged the first one into my sled. Usually, these things are wiped clean, Department of Defense Standard 5220-22-M, zeros written over ones 7 times. But this one wasn't empty. It showed as unformatted, but the space was occupied. I ran a recovery tool. It hit a partition wall almost immediately. It wasn't standard encryption like BitLocker or Decrypted. It looked like garbage, just static noise. But the file size was exact, 1.000 terabytes, down to the byte. I'm an idiot. I like a puzzle. I spent 6 hours brute forcing the header. I didn't unlock it with a password. I unlocked it by changing the system date on my rig to November 14th, 1984. Don't ask me why I tried that. The metadata on the drive had a creation timestamp that was glitched to that date. The drive mounted. There were no files, no documents, just a single executable program named audit.exe and a text file called manifest.txt. I opened the text file first. It contained a list of names, thousands of them. I did Control F for my own name. It wasn't there. But my neighbor's name was Greg Yancey. Next to his name was a status, flagged for remediation, priority 4. I felt a cold prickle on the back of my neck. I looked out the window. Greg was mowing his lawn just like he always does on Tuesdays. I clicked audit.exe. Nothing happened. A command prompt flashed for a microsecond, then closed. My computer didn't crash. The fan just spun down to a whisper. Then my internet cut out. Not just the Wi-Fi, the hard line. The little green light on my router turned a solid, unblinking amber. I went to the window to check if the cable line was down. That's when I saw them. There was a white van parked across the street. No logo, no license plate on the front, just pristine, blinding white. Standing next to it were 2 men. They were wearing gray jumpsuits, not like mechanics, more like the coveralls painters wear, but tailored, perfectly fitted. They weren't looking at my house. They were looking at Greg's house. One of them held a clipboard. The other was holding a device that looked like a surveyor's tripod, but instead of a camera, it had a black parabolic dish pointed at Greg. I watched them for 10 minutes. They didn't move. They didn't speak. They didn't blink enough. Then both of them turned their heads simultaneously. They looked directly at my window. I ducked below the sill, heart hammering. My phone buzzed. It was a text message, unknown number. Packet loss detected in Sector 7G. Please reset your terminal and remain indoors. I'm going to try to leave. I'm going to take the drive. I'll update if I make it to the motel.
Part 2. The Remediation. Posted 5 hours later. I didn't make it to the motel. I grabbed my keys and the hard drive. I left the rest of the lot in the basement. I ran out the back door to get to my car in the alley. My car wouldn't start. It's a 2018 Honda, never had an issue, but when I turned the key, the dashboard lit up with every warning light possible. Check engine, oil, battery, airbag. Then the digital display where the mileage usually is just flashed one word: wait. I got out of the car. The alley was dead silent. Usually you can hear the highway from here. Nothing. No birds, no wind. I walked to the end of the alley, intending to just run to the main road. A man in a gray jumpsuit stepped out from behind a dumpster. He wasn't holding a weapon. He was holding a remote control, like for a TV. He pointed it at me and pressed a button. My vision blurred. You know that feeling when you stand up too fast? That head rush, the static in your eyes? It was that times 10. My knees buckled. I fell onto the concrete, retching. "Subject is desynchronized," the man said. His voice was flat, monotone. It sounded like a text-to-speech program. "Who are you?" I gasped, trying to crawl backward. He didn't answer. He tapped an earpiece. "Packet interception confirmed. He has the source drive. Requesting rollback." Rollback? I managed to scramble to my feet while he was talking. The nausea wave passed for a second. I bolted back toward my house. He didn't chase me. He just watched me run. He looked bored, like a janitor watching a kid spill milk. I got back inside and locked the deadbolts. I went to the front window. Greg's house, the neighbor, was covered in a tent. You know those fumigation tents, the big striped canvas ones they put over houses for termites? It was completely covered. But they put that tent up in the 5 minutes I was in the alley. That's physically impossible. It takes a crew hours to rig those. The white van was gone. In its place was a sedan, matte gray. Sitting on the hood was one of the men. He was eating a sandwich. He took a bite, chewed 3 times, swallowed. Took a bite, chewed 3 times, swallowed. It was rhythmic, mechanical. I went back to my computer. I don't know why. Panic logic. The audit.exe program was running again. A window had opened. It was a live video feed. It was the feed of my living room from the angle of the ceiling fan. I looked up. There's no camera there, just the smoke detector. I tore the detector down. There was no camera inside, just the battery and the sensor. I looked back at the monitor. The feed showed me tearing the detector down. It wasn't a camera. It was rendering. The graphics were perfect, photorealistic, but there was a slight shimmering around the edges of objects, like a video game with the anti-aliasing turned off. Then the text file manifest.txt opened itself. My name appeared at the bottom of the list. Mark D., flagged for remediation, priority 1. I heard a sound from the front door. Not a knock, the sound of a drill. They are drilling out the lock core. I ran to the basement. I'm hiding in the crawl space behind the furnace. I can hear them upstairs. They aren't searching like cops. They aren't shouting clear or tossing rooms. They are cleaning. I hear the vacuum cleaner. I hear them doing the dishes. I hear them taking out the trash. Why are they cleaning my house? Part 3. The Glitch. Posted 2 hours later. They left. They were in the house for an hour. I listened to them scrub my toilet. I listened to them fold the laundry I left on the couch. Then I heard the front door close. I waited another 30 minutes before creeping upstairs. My house looks like a show home. Everything is perfectly aligned. The magazines on the coffee table are fanned out in a perfect arc. The shoes by the door are lined up by height. It smells like ozone and bleach. I went to the window. The gray sedan is still there. The man is still on the hood. He hasn't moved. He isn't eating anymore. He's just staring at my front door. I looked at Greg's house. The tent is gone, but the house is different.
It used to be blue siding. Now it's yellow brick. The oak tree in the front yard is gone. It's a sapling now. I saw Greg walking out to get his mail. But it wasn't Greg. It was a guy who looked like Greg, but younger, taller. He looked at me and waved. "Morning, Mark." Greg never waves. Greg hates me because my dog barks at night. "Where's the oak tree, Greg?" I shouted through the closed window. He tilted his head. "What oak tree? We've always had the maple." I stumbled back. I went to my computer. The hard drive is gone. They didn't take it. They dissolved it. The metal casing is there, but it's melted into a puddle of slag on my desk. It's cool to the touch. It didn't burn. It just lost its structure. My computer monitor turned on. A single message in white text on a black background. Ticket 4491 resolved. User Mark D. Status pending reformat. Estimated wait time 10 minutes. I grabbed this burner phone. I tried to call the cops. 911, what is your emergency? There are men outside my house. They did something to my neighbor. Please hold for a remediation specialist, the operator said. Her voice was the same monotone as the man in the alley. I hung up. I went to the bathroom to splash water on my face. I looked in the mirror. My left eye, the pupil is square, not round, a perfect pixelated square. I blinked. It didn't change. I touched my face. My skin feels rubbery, like the texture hasn't loaded in properly. I hear the drill again. This time, it's not the front door. It's the closet door, the one I'm hiding behind right now. I think I understand what priority 1 means. They didn't just fix Greg's house. They reset the asset. They are here to patch the bug. I am the bug. The drilling has stopped. Now they are just sliding something under the door. It's a gas. It's odorless, but the room is getting pixelated. The darkness in the corner of the closet is turning into blocky black squares. My hands are hard to see. My fingers are clipping through the keys. If you find a hard drive with a partition you can't access, don't force it. Do not change the date. Let the system run. Just let it run. The door is opening. It's not the man in the gray suit. It's me. He's wearing my clothes. He has my face, but his eyes are round. He's holding the remote. He's smiling. "Update complete," he says. End of transmission. Edit. Update from user binary bleed 20 minutes ago. Hey everyone, not sure what this post is about. I think my account got hacked or I left my terminal open at a LAN party. Weird creepypasta stuff, right? I'm fine. Just spent the day cleaning the house and mowing the lawn. Beautiful day outside. No glitches here, smiley face. Everything is functioning within normal parameters. Please disregard previous logs. Thread locked by administrators.